All right, let's do it. This is another collection video. This time I'm doing Xbox and Xbox 360 games. So I don't have many Xbox games as I do 360 games, so I'll get those out the way first. So the first game I want to show off for Xbox is Sega GT 2002 and Jet Set Radio Future. I feel like every Xbox owner owned these two games. It came on one CD, and to be honest, I only got this because of Jet Set Radio Future. I think I only played Sega GT 2002 once, just to see how it is, but I immediately went back to Jet Set Radio Future. Sega GT isn't a bad game at all, it's just that it's generic when compared to Jet Set Radio Future. I'd rather be tagging walls on skates and running from the police than racing the other drivers on the road. And Jet Set Radio Future is somewhere in my top 5 games of all time, just because of the cel-shaded graphics and the soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing. I always used to like playing as Garam or that guy with the big Squidward nose. I forgot his name. I'll think of it later. And the next game is Simpsons Road Rage. This is basically Crazy Taxi in the Simpsons universe. So you can play as the Simpsons characters, the main and side characters, and you pick the other character up and take them where they need to be. Sometimes Mr. Burns tries to get in your way. I forget why. Maybe because he's just a hater. I always used to like picking Homer and his supercar that appeared in that one episode. The design was stupid, but I admit that car was pretty fast. This is a simple, fun game if you want to kill some time. Amped is a little bit harder. This is a snowboarding game for the original Xbox. I played a little bit of this. I'm currently stuck on the 4th or 5th level, I forget. You just snowboard down a mountain, completing objectives, like getting a high score, doing a specific trick near photographers so they can take your pictures for a magazine. What's this? Some more ads for Xbox games. Oh, here's Amped and Project Gotham. But anyway, this game is fun, but it is kind of tough, at least the part that I'm on. I'm trying to 100% this. I play a lot of extreme sports games, snowboarding games, and skateboarding games. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2X. This is basically a remastered version of the first 2 Tony Hawk games. I believe this came out in 2002. So all the levels and skaters from the first 2 Tony Hawk games is on this disc, and it also comes along with new exclusive levels, but to tell the truth, those levels aren't really great. The concept of the levels are great. There's a construction zone level, a club level, and a rooftop level. But I don't think it was play tested enough because you can't finish your combo or line due to you jumping too high or too short. Just shy of a rail you need to grind, and it's really annoying. Remember this one? Fusion Frenzy. This is a party game where you can play up to 4 players through various mini games. I can't remember the name of the mini game, but I like the one where you had to run up the slope and either duck or jump to avoid the obstacles. It has a futuristic yet Y2K type of vibe, if that makes sense. Crash Nitro Kart is a sequel to the Crash Team Racing game released on the PS1. This is a kart racing game, and it's another one of those games where you can play with up to 4 players. In my opinion, Crash Team Racing on PS1 is better than this. I prefer the maps and character roster in the PS1 game, but this game right here is decent. It has more maps and characters. The driving mechanics are a little bit different. I could never get used to it. I always like how shiny this cover is. Jade Empire is an action RPG. You can play as 6 preset characters. There are 3 males and 3 females you can choose from. I haven't played this in a very long time, but I remember playing with the female characters the most. You can take on quests and gain experience points. You can fight hand to hand, or you can use weapons. There is an in-game mechanic where you can slow down time so you can do more damage. And there is a morality system in this game, so you can be good or bad. Kind of like how they did in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I'm not sure which game came out first, but just picture that, but it's ancient China for this game. The funny thing is, I never even heard of this game until I seen it on MTV2 on this show that used to come on called Video Mods, where the video game characters used to dance to the music. I remember them dancing to Christina Milian's Dip It Low. Am I the only one who remembers this show? I got a classic in my hands. This is the best fighting game hands down on this system, Soul Calibur 2. I always used to playing with Talem, Maxi, and Voldo, but the Xbox version came with Spawn. Crazy, right? Even though he's low tier in this game, Namco did him justice, because most of the Spawn games where he's the main character are terrible. I remember going through Weapon Master mode so I can unlock all the characters' weapons. And of course, you can't go wrong playing through arcade mode. This game has tons of replayability. If you're a casual or veteran fighting game player, you can't go wrong with this. That was the last Xbox game I had to show off. Now let's get into the Xbox 360 games. We're going to do 3 at a time here. We got Sneaking, Big Bumpin', and Pocket Bike Racer. I believe these are the only Xbox 360 games that are compatible with the original Xbox, and Pocket Bike Racer is the best one out of these 3. So this is a pocket bike racing game where you can play with who I thought was Danica Patrick, but it's Brooke Burke, along with the Burger King and other Burger King related characters that you never heard of. And I wasn't expecting much from this game, but this game is actually pretty fun. You'll be racing through a Burger King parking lot. I know it sounds lame, but it isn't. And at the end, you get to race to this burger wonderland. The maps in this game are very creative, I will say that. And in Big Bumpin', you just play a bunch of bumper car related mini games. The Big Buckin' Chicken is in this one, and I think it's voiced by Brooke Burke. For some strange reason, I like picking the Big Bucket Chicken to play as. But the King was cool too. It's an okay game. It's not as bad as his next game, Sneaking. Without a doubt, this is the worst of the 3 Burger King games. So this is a stealth game where you play as the Burger King and you have to sneak around giving people food, just like he used to do in those old commercials. And if you get caught, you lose. If they don't catch you, you get to do this cool dance. He does the same dance every time, and I laugh like an idiot. But the gameplay gets boring and repetitive after 10 minutes of playing. There's not much content in this game. You're just sneaking around and giving people food, which is something I would like to happen to me in real life. A guy can only dream. Okay, Lost Odyssey. This is a turn-based RPG where you play as immortals that go to war who live for over 1,000 years, but they lost their memories. Go figure. It comes before this, and the gameplay is similar to Final Fantasy X. Some people refer to it as the spiritual successor, even though Final Fantasy X has a sequel. This is a 360 exclusive, and I'm shocked that this hasn't been ported to Steam yet, but I can definitely see that happening in the near future. So the next game I have to show off has a very deep plot, and don't let anybody else tell you different. This is Rumble Roses XX. This masterpiece of a game is a all-female wrestling game. This is a follow-up to the PS2 title Rumble Roses. Besides updating the graphics from the last game, there are customization options, there's a street fight type of match, and there is a double team or tag team feature where you can do these creative moves with a partner. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I prefer the PS2 game over the 360. At least the PS2 version includes the story, while this 360 version is just a grind fest of you fighting match after match, trying to unlock different characters' alter egos and different outfits. So Split Second is a underrated racing game. So this was made by Disney, but it's not a kid's game. This is a racing game where you can sabotage your opponents by triggering events that happens during the race. For instance, you can trigger an airplane crash to take place during the race. It'll block the main racing path when it happens, but you can also find an alternate route to get to the finish line. You can also set off explosives. There is a wrecking ball that can destroy the area as well. You can also dodge these hazards, but that really depends on your timing. Here's a game that everybody should recognize. Mirror's Edge, the first-person parkour simulator where you're trying to escape the government. When I played this, I experienced a lot of trial and error. I messed up, fell down, died, etc. Not too many things to say about this one besides it being a fun game and a classic, so I'll just move on to the next games, which happen to be Naruto Rise of a Ninja and Naruto The Broken Bond. So these are open world RPGs that's based on the Naruto series. They're only available for the Xbox 360, not the newer Xbox consoles. And they look really good. They're faithful to the anime. The Hidden Leaf Village is gorgeous. You can play as other characters besides Naruto. There are sections where you can do the Naruto run. There are QTEs when you do the hand signs, when you do the jutsus. You gotta be fast though. Oh, and just like the anime, there's a bunch of filler in this game, filler missions. I believe one had you save a potato chip factory. This isn't optional, by the way. This is mandatory. So when you play as Choji, you gotta save his favorite potato chip factory from going out of business. It turns out the rival potato chip factory has been sabotaging them, and we must put an end to it. Yeah, so both of these games are pretty fun. That is, if you like that Naruto crap. Next up is Raiden number 4. So this is a shmup and it's a banger. It even comes with the soundtrack, which contains 27 songs, by the way. The gameplay is pretty nice. I don't consider myself an expert at these shmups, but I got pretty far in this game. I haven't beat it completely yet, but based on the bit that I played, I can recommend this one. So you can also pick this one up on the Nintendo Switch and the PS5, because it was recently ported to those systems with a remix soundtrack. Oops, I lied. I actually do have one more OG Xbox game to show off, and that's Dead or Alive Ultimate. This contains the first 2 Dead or Alive games, which have been remastered in a way. They've been updated from their Sega Saturn and Dreamcast counterparts. These 2 games actually use the engine that was used in Dead or Alive 3, so gameplay is faster and tighter. Plus, it had online capabilities. I think this was one of the first fighting games where you can go online and challenge other players. But by the time I got this a couple years ago, the online function had been removed, so I didn't get to show off my Ayane online. But I still play through the arcade ladder from time to time. Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Is this the one where Venom and Wolverine are in it? Yeah, I can see them. Spider-Man is holding them in his arms. That's how I like to hold my homies. Anyway, this is a open world Spider-Man game where you can team up with your foes and allies by summoning them, like Wolverine, Black Cat, or Venom, and take out the bad guys. This is based on a choice system. You can do some good deeds, but you can also do some bad stuff, which will affect the story, which isn't all that great, by the way, compared to other games. This isn't the best Spider-Man game, but it's cool. Tetris Evolution. Come on, you played Tetris before, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time explaining what you do in this game. Even your grandmother has played this game. It's fun. It's one of those games that's on every system, starting with the Game Boy. It's just Tetris on the Xbox 360. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. I think this game is based on the cartoon show that used to come on Cartoon Network. I wish I can tell you more about this game, but I never played it. This is one of the few games that I have in my collection that's still sealed. So I haven't played this yet, but looking at the back of the cover, it looks like this is a 3D platformer. But you know what isn't a 3D platformer? Bully the Scholarship Edition. I don't care what anybody says, this is Rockstar's best series. You play as a rebel, Jimmy Hopkins, and you attend Bulworth Academy School, and you cause ruckus. This originally came out for the PS2 and the Nintendo Wii, I believe, but this version includes more content. You can play mini games by attending the different classes, and I believe there are a few extra classes in this version that wasn't in the PS2 or Wii version. It's just GTA at school, but you can't kill anybody. But you can steal a motor scooter. Ridge Racer 6 is the only Ridge Racer game that's on the 360 and other Xbox platforms, and it looks so good. It feels good to play too. Besides Ridge Racer Type 4, this is probably my second favorite Ridge Racer game of all time. But that soundtrack though, if you never heard Chasing All My Dreams, I suggest you pause this video and look up that song right now, because that's a classic. It's very inspirational, and just like all the other Ridge Racer games, yes, you can unlock a Pac-Man car, but it's more like a UFO in this game. Virtua Fighter 5 Online. I never played this online, by the way, but this is a one-on-one martial arts fighting game. The only thing I did in this game was play the arcade mode and the tournament mode, where you can unlock the different costumes, the money, by winning the tournaments. I usually play with Sarah. Yeah, her kicks were lethal. I like the newcomers El Blaze and Eileen as well. They were great additions to the series, and hope they're in the new one. I like the character roster for the most part, but I do not like how they made Vanessa a lighter complexion. I don't know why they did that for some reasons. Her skin was just fine in Virtua Fighter 4. I just had to mention that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Excuse me, Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I still got the receipt in here. This is a beat 'em up based off of the Nickelodeon show, which I never watched. And I cannot recommend that you get this game because the gameplay was terrible. So you pick one turtle in one player mode and the computer will pick another one at random. And they will just stand there acting brain dead while you fighting for your life. You're better off playing the other beat 'em ups of the series, like Turtles in Time, Shredder's Revenge. Oh, here's a good fighting game. Battle Fantasia. Not too many people have heard of this one, but this one's a gem. Arc System Works published this, and they're famous for doing the Guilty Gear series and Token. But this is a 2D fighting game with 3D backgrounds with a colorful cast of characters. They look like they belong in an RPG rather than a fighting game. There's a time attack mode, practice mode. You can play through the arcade ladder to unlock the ending, and an illustration. Yep, this is a pretty solid fighting game right here that I'll gladly recommend. Way of the Samurai 3, aka Choose Your Own Adventure, Samurai Edition. So you play as a samurai somewhere between the 15th and 17th century Japan, and there are clans that have beef with each other. You can choose which side you want to be on, but you got to be careful which decision that you make, because every action has a consequence and can determine the ending of the game. You can make a lot of enemies, or you can make a lot of friends. The next game I have is Need for Speed Shift. Oh yeah, I got this from Value Village. This is yet another Need for Speed game that EA flooded the market with, and it was cheap, so I got it. Not much to say about this, so we'll go to the next game. Skate from EA. The thing about Skate, you have to do the tricks with the analog stick instead of the face buttons. Weird at first, but you get used to it, and it brought competition to the Tony Hawk series. Yup, when Tony Hawk was on the decline, Skate was on the rise. And it had a lot of skateboarders that wasn't in the Tony Hawk series, like PJ Ladd, Chris Cole, Jason Dill, even Rob Dyrdek. The physics was more realistic, and it really felt like you were skateboarding whenever you played this. Sega Rally Revo. I gotta say, this game is pretty impressive and underrated too. It's not the first racing game that comes to mind when you're talking about the system, but it can still hang with the best of them. It's fun, arcadey, but realistic at the same time. Also, the racetracks have geodeformation, meaning the racetrack deteriorates over each lap. Like if there's mud on the course and you and your competition drives over the same spot, it might be slicker the next lap, and this could cause you to slam into the wall and lose the race. And if you perform good enough in these races, you can even unlock the Lakeside course, which was in the previous games. This game still looks good years later. This next game has such a cool name. This is Akai Katana. This is a shoot 'em up, but a good way to describe this game is a bullet hell, but I also like bullet heaven. I like the way the bullets appear on the screen, they're colorful, and it reminds me of fireworks. You can shoot the enemies, but you can also use a sword to destroy them as well. And I do like the anime aesthetic, and the soundtrack's pretty cool too. I haven't beaten this game yet because I can't survive long in games like these, but the bit that I played was pretty good. The Last Remnant is yet another game on the backlog. This is a JRPG from Square Enix, and I only played the first battle, which has you starting off in a war. Like as soon as you turn the game on, you're in the middle of a battle, which is turn-based. The character on the cover, he's actually trying to stop the war. I haven't played this game fully yet, but I heard it's like 60 hours. It comes with 2 discs, so as soon as I have some free time, I'll give this game a go. This is King of Fighters 12. This is a team-based fighting game. You gotta pick 3 characters so they can go up against another set of 3 characters. This game gets a lot of flack because of the lack of single-player modes. It only features 20 playable characters when games before in the series had more characters. And on top of all that, Mai isn't even in this one for some reason. It's still a good game though. It's just that I expected more. It's still one of the best 2D fighters from this era. It's just that I play KOF 13 more. And now we have the dancing games. We got DDR Universe 2 and DDR Universe 3. This is the real meat and potatoes of my Xbox 360 collection, as you can see. I don't have the dance mats that goes with it. I wish I did though. Instead, I just used to play with the D-pad on the controller. And I remember dancing, I say that in quotations, to that Walk Like an Egyptian song. And I remember it being hard. I can't remember which specific games these songs were on, but I remember the Safety Dance was a standout song, Dancing Machine, Rockets. I don't think I unlocked every single song. These games had some hits on it. Okay, now we have Blur. This is a arcade racing game slash vehicular combat game. The reason why I say that is because you can sabotage the other racers when you get the power-ups. It's kind of like Mario Kart. Matter of fact, it's like a cross between Mario Kart and Burnout Revenge. Yeah, this is a fun little game, so play it if you haven't already. Now we have Marvel Ultimate Alliance. This is an action RPG, but that's not all, because also in this pack comes Forza Motorsport 2, which I thought was weird, because this is an entirely different game. I think it was bundled in with some of the Xbox 360 consoles back in 07, but I got this from the thrift shop. Okay, so Forza Motorsport 2 is a racing game where you can race supercars. I didn't really play it that much because it was more serious, while I preferred Blur. It's still a good game. And if you ever played the X-Men Legends series, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is almost the same. Instead of playing with the X-Men characters, you get to play with a bunch of Marvel characters. And you earn experience and upgrade your abilities depending on how many enemies you defeat. Amped 3. This is a snowboarding game. I'm going to be honest, I haven't played this one yet, but I heard it gets kind of crazy and it's over the top. The reason why I haven't played this yet is because I haven't beaten the first Amped yet, and I don't have Amped 2, so I'm looking for that one. So I'm not sure if I should play these games in chronological order. I kind of want to do things in chronological order just to see how much the series has improved over the years. So I'll eventually get to this one. Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom. This is an action game. So you play as a thief named Tepu, and you come across a giant named Majin. And you have to work together to defeat enemies, solve puzzles, and restore a kingdom to its former glory. This is yet another game I haven't played yet. I've seen this game in a video about underrated PS3 games, but I got the 360 version, and I heard good things about it. So I can't wait to try this one out for myself. So this next game I have beaten before. This is Blue Dragon. The characters were designed by Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball fame, and this is a turn-based RPG where the characters summon blue spirit animals. The main character's spirit animal is a blue dragon, and they got to fight this enemy called the Land Shark. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, huh? But it's a good game. It was unexpectedly more difficult than I was thinking it was. I did lose some boss fights that I wasn't properly equipped for, but I eventually beat them. Oh, if you never played this game before, here's a tip. Whenever you hear this song playing, don't hold back. Just go all out. I got another combo pack to show off. This time is Lego Batman and Pure. That's another superhero game bundled with a racing game. Why y'all do that, Xbox? These Lego games are always fun. Sure, it's a collectathon, but it's still fun regardless. Especially when you got a buddy to play with on couch co-op. Pure is a good time as well. You race on ATVs. You can pull off stunts and perform combos in freestyle mode, which is the mode that I played in the most. We got another RPG. This time is 99 Nights 3. Well, it's more of a hack and slash game with RPG elements. There's 7 playable characters in this. Only one is unlocked from the beginning, but when you complete their story, more characters are unlocked as you progress. I will say that the characters have weird names, or weird spelling of their names. Look at this. Infi? What the hell is an Aspar? Or is it Asfar? This game is kind of reminiscent of the Dynasty Warrior games. There's a bunch of enemies on screen, and you're constantly fighting in wars. NBA Street Home Court. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't play this that much. For one, the in-game physics were different. I could never get used to them. 2, it uses that one Instagram filter that everyone was using. You know which one I'm talking about. And 3, they took out the commentator, which was a big part of the previous NBA Street games. And I was just quiet. Also, they changed the game breakers in this. It's not an improvement, but there are double and triple dunks. That's cool, I guess. But it feels like I'm unfairly comparing this to NBA Street Volume 2. That game set the standard. Anything that came after that couldn't live up to that game. It's still an okay game though. The next game is the RPG Infinite Undiscovery. So I got this back in 2021, and I even got the strategy guide. And I have not played this yet. It's just been sitting on my shelf. I don't know why. I guess I'm too busy complaining about NBA Street games. Well, as you can see, this game comes with 2 discs, and I think it's an action RPG. And that's all I know. But best believe I'm going to sit down and give this a full playthrough soon. That's all I can say for now. Now we have Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage. This is a 3D beat 'em up. First of all, look at this guy's back. These are back goals. But anyway, like I said before, this is a 3D beat 'em up. This plays a lot like the Dynasty Warrior games. Is it Koei? Yeah. Koei made this game and the Dynasty Warrior game, so that's why they play like each other. So if you've seen or watched the anime or manga that this game is based off of, then you should know to expect brutal violence and comical moments. Rated M for mature. And speaking of Koei, the next 2 games I'm going to show off were also developed by them. We got Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 and 3. Where's number 1, you ask? That's on my PS3. Spoiler alert, I'll dive into my PS3 collection later on. So if you ever play any of the Dynasty Warrior games, well, besides the first, it's pretty much the same game, except you're playing as a Gundam now. And these are some of my favorite games in the Dynasty Warrior series. I think it's cool how they put the Gundam spin on an already established series. I don't know what's going on in this game. I never watched a Gundam anime, but I still have fun hacking and slashing everything in sight. Plus you get to customize your own Gundam with new skills and upgrades. Alright, now we have Cube, which is actually 3 games. There's Res HD, Luminous Live, and Every Extend Extra Extreme, or you can call it E4 for short. So Res HD is a rail shooter where music is created with every in-game action that you make. So there is a Dreamcast and PS2 port of this game, but it's best if you play it on the 360 because, you know, it's in HD. E4 is basically a shoot 'em up where you have to destroy the enemies to the beat of the music. You can chain attacks by holding down the detonation button. The trick is to time it just right to make more enemies explode. Both of these games are great, but my favorite one on here has to be Luminous. It's sort of like Tetris, but it's more music based. 2x2 multicolored blocks fall from the top of the screen, and you have to match 4 of them to make a Luminous. Music is created every time you make a move in this game, and let me tell you, this soundtrack is amazing. I forgot who the artists are, but my 2 favorite songs in this are Shake Your Body and Lights. The first time I heard Lights, it almost brought a tear to my eye. Now I would play them, but you know, copyrights and stuff. Ultimedia is excellent. This is a shoot 'em up with anime waifus, and it's hard as hell. That's all you need to know. Samurai Showdown Sen, aka Samurai Showdown 7. This is an exclusive Xbox 360 fighting game. In my opinion, it's an okay fighting game, but it kind of set the series back as a whole. For instance, the characters Nakaruru and Galford, who fought alongside animals, their pets no longer appear, except when you do their respective moves. In the previous games, the animals would appear throughout the whole set, and that's what kind of made them cool. Also, there's like 13 new characters that appears in this, but they're on the bland side, kind of forgettable. That's probably why they haven't appeared in many other sequels. Well, specifically Samurai Showdown, the 2019 version. I don't know if it was just me, but the gameplay was kind of dark. Otherwise, it's just an okay fighting game. Very basic though. Now we have Lightning Returns from Final Fantasy 13 Part 3. This is a RPG I haven't gotten around to playing yet because I haven't played Part 2 of Final Fantasy 13. So I won't talk about this too much. But soon, I'll get to this. I played the first part already, but I currently don't have Part 2 in my collection. And I'm just waiting to get that. Dead or Alive Extreme 2. This game is about forming a strong sisterhood bond with the female characters from the Dead or Alive series. There are 9 playable characters. You spend time with each other by shopping, playing volleyball, and other wholesome activities. It's very serious, it's very competitive. This installment really advances the overall story of the DOA series. There's music in this by The Baha Men, Sweet Female Attitude, Hilary Duff, Bob Marley, and more. Only a cultured video game collector would appreciate a game like this. And I'm not going to lie to you, I wouldn't be caught dead without this one. Record of Agarest War Zero is a strategy RPG. I have not played this yet because my copy is still sealed. So it comes with a soundtrack, a character guide, and a special playing card set. I picked this up from a yard sale back in 2020. I haven't opened it yet because I have a massive backlog, but I'll eventually get to it one of these days. Back to the DOA series. This is DOA 4. This is one of the best fighting games on this system, and I think it came out like a month after the 360 launch in like December 2005, and this game still looks amazing. I don't have a favorite character in this, but I think Brad Wong is cool with his drunk ass, and I really like the Savannah stage. Getting to see all these wild animals is a treat, and being able to interact with them is just the icing on the cake. Yep, you can't go wrong with DOA 4, and it's probably my favorite one in the series. Crackdown. This game is ridiculously fun. You play as an agent with superhuman abilities to take out criminals and other bad guys. It's open world and it's very over the top. There was an online 2-player co-op mode you can play. You could gain experience and increase your abilities, unlock stronger versions of the guns you have and other weapons. You could also do these rooftop races. Overall, it's a very fun experience. Chaotic, but still fun. The next game I have is a Japanese game, Onichanbara Bikini Samurai Squad. The premise is you pick a bikini-clad girl and you go zombie slaying. That's all. It is possible to change the characters' outfits to something different. In fact, you can unlock new outfits and new characters if you play through the story mode, and unlock special extras like wallpapers if you meet certain challenges. You can also earn experience points so your characters can get stronger, but it's so much of a grind. It takes quite a while for you to do more damage, get a bigger life bar, and learn new techniques. On the upside, you get to look at bikini babes, or schoolgirls if you're into that sort of thing. Now we have another RPG. This time is Dragon Age Origins, and you get to choose between being a human, a dwarf, and an elf, and then a warrior, a mage, and a rogue. And it's one of those games where the different factions are at war with each other. Gameplay will differ depending on which race you choose, and the main focus of the game is to navigate between the different groups and take on the real threat. I will say combat is kind of hard in this game, but it's still a fun game. The next game I have is Enslaved Odyssey of the West. And this game surprised me because I didn't know what it was going to be about the first time I put it in my system. It's an action game with a lot of platforming and puzzles, and it kind of reminds me of the Uncharted series. So you play as this big beefy dude named Monkey, who's been enslaved by this woman named Trip. At the beginning of the game, you're aboard a slave ship that ends up crashing, and Trip just wants to go back home to her village, and she promises to set Monkey free as long as he escorts her safely there. And they have to learn how to trust and work with each other, because there's a lot of dangerous robot mechs lurking around, and it surprised me because of the graphics. The cutscenes transitions into the gameplay so smoothly, you can hardly tell which is which, and the combat is fun and easy. You use a stick to destroy the robot mechs, and y'all know how I like violence. Yay, violence. I only played a little bit of this game so far, but this is definitely something I will be streaming soon on Twitch, so be on the lookout for that. Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. This is a 3D anime fighter that lets you play with characters from the Dragon Ball universe. There's a story mode, you have a 2-on-2 fighting mode, you can play missions. What impressed me the most is how large the fighting arenas are. The last Dragon Ball game I played was Sagas on PS2. Yeah, that was a stinker. But imagine how my mind was blown when I put this game in. I didn't know you can fight underwater. The Saboteur. This is an open world game that takes place in the early 1900s, 1940 to be exact. And you gotta stop the Nazis from taking over in Germany and in Paris. So you get to fight the Nazis, you get to shoot the Nazis, you get to race cars, and you can do parkour. This is yet another game I haven't beaten completely yet, but I plan to stream the full game on Twitch one day. Armored Core 4 Answer. This is a mech game that was also released on the PS3. I didn't play too much of this, but it was fun zooming around and shooting at the enemies. The setting is drab and gray for the most part, but it is action-packed. Plus, it's always fun getting to customize your mech into something better. I've never beaten an Armored Core game to completion, but this might be the first one I actually sit down and play. So I have one more game to show off, and it's from my favorite fighting game series. It's Tekken 6, and it's actually the special edition. I got this back in 2019 from Mercari for a cheap price. It does come with a few extras, which I'm about to show off. For instance, it comes with a slipcover. There it is right there. Of course, it comes with the manual disc and case. And now for the rest of the extras. Oh, I'm gonna need some room. I gotta move everything back here. The big box. She's beautiful, isn't she? This is one of the best games in the series. I like it because of the Bloodline Rebellion mode, aka Tekken Force. This was the mode I played mostly. I love a good beat 'em up. I wish they would bring it back, but this is the last time something like this was in the Tekken series. Of course, there's your arcade mode, online mode, ranked player matches. There was a deeper customization mode where you can play dress up with your favorite characters. So inside the big box was a smaller white box, and inside the white box contains, hold up, let me get it out, the arcade stick. So it has Heihachi, Kazuya, Lars, and Jin on it. Hori made this, and it's a pretty decent arcade stick. Buttons feel good, easy to play with. There is an art book, and inside the art book it features various artwork from all the Tekken games leading up to this point. So from Tekken 1 to Tekken 6, it shows the different outfits, fully 3D still shot images. And some of these outfits we didn't even see in the final games, and most of them are really cool looking, very stylish and fashionable. It makes me wonder why I didn't include some of these outfits into the final version of the game. I'm an appreciator of art, and I love when video game companies do things like this, have these type of extras included with their games. I will gladly pay for these type of extras as long as they're reasonably priced. Alright, that was the last game I had to show off. Congratulate yourself, you have made it to the end of another collection video. These are all my Xbox and Xbox 360 games. Be on the lookout for more videos, whether it's playthroughs or more collection videos. Thank you so much for watching. STFM. Stay tuned for more.